are ya? In a doubleheader tonight, first this recording, check, and then back after with Purple, 30 minutes from now, I deliver you the big updates from Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to your home, the most comprehensive financial news to end your Friday evening, covering everything and everything under the sky, and interactive with you in the room as well. I'll be answering some of your incredible questions and also some of your 2,000 questions from yesterday's recording on this one as well. Again, it's a double header, the 30-minute video now, and then back live with you with another 30-minute video right after this one. This video will be going over the big questions you're wondering about that stimulus check, and also that multiple stimulus check, that tax credit. I'll be answering your questions and comments that I got even after the last video. And I have a lot of other big financial news across the board to hit on this recording as well. Then on the recording right after this, I'll be back and going over the push to go bigger and bolder with FPUC is now getting traction finally. Finally, and I'll be going over the other deal provisions of the third stimulus package, which you've been asking for. Mortgage assistance, you've been asking for clarity about that, paid child care, paid sick leave, and other things like the business grants. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And thank you for the new subscribers today. We're starting to pick up. I was jumping into more of the comments. You know, it's hard sometimes to jump in all the comments all the time, but I loved doing it. I adore jumping in the comments and chatting with people who are not subscribers. Hey, how are you? Why aren't you subscribing? Grabbing their digital arm and or digital wrist and shaking like, why aren't you subscribed? Come on, what are you doing? You know, and it's very funny because some of them I knew, and I'm like, wait a second, I can see you're not subscribed because on the back end I can see there's a little red dot next to the face. It didn't show red next to the name, and it didn't show subscribe. I'm like, wait a second, you need to subscribe. And certainly the subscriber count started to move, so I really like it. So if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. You know, we're in the middle of February as you start this Friday afternoon. And I'm looking back on, January and looking back on the early part of February. And throughout that time, you and I came together as a family where we understood that accuracy in reporting is important. And there was a lot of people that were feeding false narratives in January and February, and they're still doing it to this day. And some of them are elected officials. So I appreciate you keeping it grounded and to the point. In this recording, I'm going to go over that check and that tax credit check and more in a second. But the big question tonight is, could the stimulus package go higher than $1.9 trillion? I didn't get any notifications today, Nancy. Wow. So Nancy didn't get any notifications. Go to the front channel and go where it says subscribe, and there's a bell. Unsubscribe and then resubscribe. And then where that shows the bell, go to the bell and click, what is it called? Unnotify. No notifications. I was like, what's the reverse of notification? No notifications. Unnotify me. Turn it to no notifications, and then turn it back to on for notifications. Still getting a notification. Another person said, wow. So go to the fresh channel, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and then go to that bell. When you're looking at the bell, it has two lines on the side, sort of like Princess Leia's earmuffs. Yeah, I just sort of came up with that. If you're looking at the notification bell, it looks like Princess Leia's earmuffs, two things on the side like this. And if you don't see it like that, then it means you're not signed up for all notifications. So click it so that you get the Princess Leia earmuffs on the side of the bell. Made of hair. The question tonight is whether the stimulus package could go bigger than $1.5 trillion stimulus. Oh, Sandy's at the hospital. My goodness, waiting for a ride home, and she's watching me in the hospital. Someone has low blood pressure. Well, I hope they're okay. Thank you for watching from the hospital. Whoever, Sandy, and whoever you're with, that's incredible. Sandy will encourage you to give good spirits back to her as well. So the question tonight is whether the stimulus package could go bigger than 1.9 million Well, a series of reports tonight suggest that the package may go bigger. Oh, oh, please do. Please go bigger. This is shocking. Quincy Crosby, chief market strategist at Prudential Financial, in a statement up tonight obtained by LA News, says that the market, Wall Street, is waiting to see how big the package is going to be. It's going to be very important. They can get it through reconciliation. Crosby went on to say that the package should be very big and bold, and maybe should be bigger than what it is. Wendy, thank you for becoming a Purple Hawk. Now, Wendy may know, and if she doesn't know, you tell her as well, that the Purple Hawks already know, the viewers of the show already know, that there is a senator who is a top senator and a top Democrat who wants the stimulus package to go bigger already. We know that tonight. We knew that this afternoon when I first detailed it to you. And I'm going to cover more about him in the video right after this. But welcome, Wendy, to the family. And this is why we stay as a hawk. Hawk of a pain in the side. No, I can. Hawk, hawk. Why? This is why the Hawks are ready to pounce, because maybe there's going to be more stimulus. I'm feeling better now. I was a hot mess earlier. Oh, Lord, you could tell. You could tell when I'm not doing well. But yeah, this is for that person said you look fat. Yeah, I'm sick, so that's why this side. If you want to see the good side, just sort of look over this side. Don't look to that side. We can sort of do the half of the broadcast. Maybe I'll go half out of the frame. We can sort of do those Art Nouveau videos, from France, where it's just half of a face, like a music video from the 1980s. Just you can just see one eye and half a mouth. That would be a great way to do the broadcast news. I don't think anyone's ever done that. Why is it Art Nouveau? Because it's we're cutting edge. We're different. Just do it sort of like half a show. So that's an interesting comment by Quincy Crosby to go bigger on a stimulus package than 1.9. Then there was a comment by another person to go smaller. Oh no, just when we're about to go bigger on the stimulus package, then someone comes in and says we're going to go smaller. Cornerstone macro policy analyst told Broadcast News tonight there's less punchback to President Biden's proposed stimulus package for moderates, less than we expected. Oh goodness, that's very negative. So a price tag of about 1.5 trillion seems likely. 1.5, it's 1.9. What happened to $400,000 of it? Excuse me? Is that a misquote? I mean, I saw this before I went on camera, obviously. Why is he saying, we should be proud it's 1.5? It's 1.9. It's not 1.5. Did it go smaller? Did it shrink on us? My face is swelling, but the stimulus bill is shrinking. It's like everything that's missing from the stimulus bill is now in my face. What's going on here? This don't make any sense. So we should hope the bill goes bigger, more bloated, like my jaw, not smaller, like like a side of parsley on the menu. No. Then they're talking about treasury yields. I don't know. I don't know about you, but every time I hear someone talk about treasury yields and interest rates and inflation when they're talking about the stimulus package, I want to say, can you just stop that? In 2020, all we heard from the Republicans was, stimulus packages will cause massive deficit and this and that. This week, we heard from actual Democrats that said, hey, the stimulus package will cause inflation and cause treasury yields to go up. Earlier this week, Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, the chief economist in the nation, said, no, it's not. No, it's not. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. It's just not true. We're not raising the interest rate here at the Treasury. Well, apparently people weren't listening to him because now there's sort of pushback to the stimulus. And I know someone's going to say, so you're saying we're not getting our stimulus, right? Is that the reason why you're using that quote? Because we're not getting our stimulus? No, I'm just telling you the universe of people trying to get you your stimulus. Because you think about big drivers, they're related: virus, vaccines, stimulus, and inflation. If there's more talk out of DC about moving up the stimulus package forward, that sets the stage for yields to go up. No, it doesn't. Thank you, Michael Schumacher, head of rate strategy at Wells Fargo Securities. No, it doesn't. Jerome Powell said this week he's not raising the rates, even, and he wants the stimulus package to go out. You know why I'm reading this quote is because ultimately people are going to say, LA, I heard that we're not going to get a stimulus package because some people are saying rates are going to go up. No, it's untrue. I had someone DM me between Chuck and now said, I heard Congress is gone for 4 weeks, so they're not going to do anything. Does this sound like August of last year? Remember when I said, "Hey, God, it feels like a year ago." Well, I guess it is a year ago. Remember when Fox News said that hysterical remark that everyone in Congress was going to disappear for what was it, 8 weeks or something? Nothing was going to get done. And I said, "Hello, they're still there. They're doing the the Chief Justice nomination. They're in the subcommittees." I said, "Hey, Fox News, remember the Hey Fox News?" Well, this we're back at Hey Fox News again in just 2021 version, where people are saying, "I heard they're leaving. I heard they're. Did you hear they're leaving? They're all leaving. They're not doing anything for you till like June." And my sister's brother's uncle knows the caterer there. Uh, can we just stop that? It's just not true. Thank you. All right. So distractions. Oh, there are distractions for your stimulus check. Investors are focused next week on guess what? Robinhood. Oh, Robinhood CEO is expected to testify on Capitol Hill regarding the GameStop controversy. Oh yeah, I expect other channels to live stream that. I am not live streaming the senatorial investigative financial services committee on the House Financial Services Committee. It's not an investigation. Sorry, House Services Committee on Robinhood. Boring. It's just that's so boring. But what does it mean? It means it is a distraction again for your stimulus check. I don't like anything that distracts your stimulus check. And if I hear that there's some CEO on Capitol Hill and they're questioning him about GameStop for last year, uh, from last week, I just like, oh, Lord, can we please stop having distractions? I mean, let's recap the distractions we've had on this channel. In addition to when they raised the ice cream from $12 to 12.50, Nancy's ice cream just keeps on going up in price. We had the postman. We had two impeachments. We had like three other scandals for Nancy. Like every week there's a scandal for Nancy. It's like, she did not watch enough Falcon Crest. There has to be a scandal every week. Well, next week there's another scandal that's distracting for the House for from the stimulus check. And ultimately I could be really petty, which sometimes I am. I could be petty for everyone who says they're not working on your stimulus check till April because they're gone for 2 weeks. I'm like, no, they're not gone. They're doing a House subcommittee to investigate a subject matter that has nothing to do with stimulus. So they are in town. They're just talking about something else. I can be really petty, but I'm not going to be petty because I was just petty right there. So, yeah, let's get to the stimulus check. $1,400 an individual, $2,800 a married couple, $1,400 a child, $1,400 an adult dependent. Yeah. I, I can I just say I feel like there's ageism in this. Can I say that? I think I can. I feel like there's ageism in this stimulus package. Do you feel it also? Adult dependents are generally older people. They're generally people who appear on their child's tax return, like a mom. She's in her 70s or 60s. She's retired. She appears on her son's tax return. She's an adult dependent. She's an adult dependent. She did not get a first stimulus check, $1,200. She did not get a second stimulus check, $600. And now she's not going to get it again. She was supposed to get the $1,200 and the $600, and now she's not getting both of them. And generally, adult dependents are adults. I mean, that's sort of the terminology, but they're generally not. Most adult dependents are older. Most adult dependents. There are adult dependents who are college students. Your 18-year-old who's off, playing, being the next gamer, and he appears on your tax return. But most adult dependents are adults. They're of advanced age. My mom is 80 years old and I claim her as my dependent on my taxes, says Catalina. Absolutely. And I sense that adult dependents are getting passed over. That's the nice way to say it. Passed over. Adult dependents are getting passed over again, a third time. I just, they were passed over in the first stimulus package. They were supposed to be in there. It was a mistake. Nancy said it was a mistake. It was a mistake. They were passed over. Passed over in the second stimulus package. I don't know why. I mean, it was just like, we already knew the first stimulus package was a mistake, and then they left them out the second stimulus package. Then they said they'll take care of them now. Then they're like, who? Who? We don't know you. In my Mariah voice, I don't know her. Wait a second. So that's the first occurrence of adult people are certainly not noticeable to these elected officials who are advanced age themselves, but clearly file their own tax returns. When you make $3 million a year on book advances as a senator in the Congress, or 150,000 book advance for a book you never actually deliver, you're filing your own tax return. You're not appearing on your child's tax as a tax return as an adult dependent, so they can't relate to you, maybe. But that's the first occurrence of not paying adults. The second occurrence is the SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits. The SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits, I mean, Pete DeFazio, God bless him. Pete DeFazio, Democrat out of the Northwest, said in December, he's going to Nancy Pelosi and arguing that adults of advanced age have not been financially taken care of by this government during this pandemic. His example was the following: that milk and eggs went through the roof during the pandemic, which they did. I've done other videos on milk and eggs. I don't need to do another video on milk and eggs, how much has gone up. That it went up, and that their Social Security checks don't go up. Why? Because they're tied to COLA, which doesn't move up. And it should be tied to CPI. Hey, Maggie, thank you for becoming a Purple Hawk. So SSI and SSDI they've gone silent on it. They've gone silent on seniors. Everyone welcome her to the family. Welcome Maggie to the family. Thank you for becoming a Purple Hawk on a big night with 17 minutes on the clock, 1,000 people already in the room. Wow. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes to 500 and let's get to a full 1,000. So I sense there's some ageism here. Now, what I said I was going to cover in this video as well is the multiple stimulus checks. Who are those multiple stimulus checks for? 6 and younger. Ages 6 and younger, the parents are going to get $3,600 for a 5-year-old. Now, I have to be careful of my words. You know what I'm about to say. But the 5-year-old, let's think about this. The 5-year-old is getting $3,600 of a stimulus check. On top of the $1,400, by the way. The 5-year-old's already getting a $1,400 stimulus check as a minor dependent, like everyone else. Everyone else getting $1,400. The 5-year-old's getting $1,400. But the 5-year-old's also going to get $3,600. He's 5. Why does a 5-year-old, no disrespect to the viewers that want this money, but if the 5-year-old, how about the 2-year-old? Let's do the 2-year-old. The 2-year-old's going to get $3,600 plus $1,400. That's $5,000. That's exactly $5,000. $5,000 stimulus check for a 2-year-old, and a senior gets $1,400. Tell me if you think it's fair if a 2-year-old gets $5,000 under the third stimulus package, and a 60-year-old senior citizen gets $1,400. No, says Alicia, and she has kids. She says no, not fair. Hell no, says Brenda. Not fair, says Nancy. Kim says no. Bill says no. Christy says no. Jeremy says no. Iris says no. So everyone's saying no. Why are they doing this? Do you have an idea? I don't. Why are they showing insane preferential treatment to very, very, very young children? and nothing to adults. It sounds like legislative ageism is what it sounds to me like. It sounds like legislative ageism being very beneficial to very young people and being unbeneficial to older people. Um, and if I want to do a mic drop on this, let me do the balancing. But on the left is the 2-year-old. On the right is the 6-year-old, 60-year-old. Okay, the 2-year-old has never worked a day in his life. The 6-year-old maybe has worked, 20 years at the local five and dime. Pay taxes, did their time, or was a service member, did their time. Okay, so the 2-year-old and the 60-year-old, they're both going to get $1,400. Still the same. Okay. There's questions why a 2-year-old to start with is getting a $1,400 stimulus check. Remember, back in the Cash Act, they were only going to get $500, but both $1,400. So we see at the moment, and then suddenly the child is going to get $3,600 on top of that, so $5,000. Now, understand, I don't think anyone has gotten anything for $5,000 as an individual in any of these stimulus packages. Remember, $5,000 was our $800 billion of CARES Act money. We're talking as an executive order. I don't think anyone's gotten $5,000 as an individual in this stimulus package right now. So the 2-year-old's at $5,000, the 6-year-old's still at $1,400. Okay, what about benefits? The younger minors shouldn't receive that much. Adults and seniors need more. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. So now let's talk about the seniors. The seniors saw as a campaign promise that their benefits will be increased. Now remember, I don't want to be hyper technical, but the seniors pay taxes through their lifetime on their income so that they would get Social Security. It's not as though that Social Security is just a freebie. It was taken out of their taxes over time. That's why they're getting Social Security. So you have this child that's $5,000, the senior's at $1,400, and the senior voted for a person who promised to give them more benefits for seniors and not getting them. And meantime, milk and eggs are going up. Well, guess what? Their check that they normally get for Social Security is worth less money. If you get, let's say, $800 a month for Social Security and milk and eggs went up, 200%, your check is worth less money. Suddenly this person is getting less from the federal government. Suddenly this person is getting less, the 6-year-old is getting less, and the child is going up to $5,000. This doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on here. Sorry I'm late. Wow, the 22-minute mark. That went longer than I thought. It don't make sense. There's going to be a point at which this may implode. I got to tell you. I'd be happy if this is the channel that causes it to implode. I mean, I would be happy if that LA is the broadcast channel that causes this to implode. But there's a point at which it starts to look, okay, you're doing this on purpose. You're doing this on purpose. You are deliberately favoriting very young children and deliberately ignoring adults. Now, as I know, that Nancy Pelosi all throughout 2020 talked about young children going hungry, young children for this, young children for that. I got it. I got it. But there's a difference to that equation. The difference to that equation is the concept is the child's not in poverty. The parent is in poverty. Understand, these are not parentless children. These are children whose parents are in poverty. The concept is to pull the parents out of poverty, not pull the child out of poverty. Why are we just paying checks and checks and checks and checks and checks to children that are newly born? We need to bring the family out of poverty, not the child out of poverty. I think economically, Nancy is confused that the poverty level is defined by the parent, and the parent is the person you want to pull out of poverty. And if you do that, you pull the whole household out of poverty. An example of this would be if you have a single individual who is in poverty, you're pulling him out of poverty, for example. Well, what happens if that single individual has 5 kids and is also in poverty. Well, suddenly it becomes a lot more of an effort to pull everything out of poverty. Um, the big issue here, as we sit here at the 25-minute mark, is at what point is this administration going to understand that it's one thing to forget SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits. Thank you, Dan, for the super chat. To forget about SSI, SSDI, to not do what you promised, the $200 a month on top of your existing benefits, to not do the new benchmark to increase your Social Security, which has been too long. It's been this is not a Democratic position; it's a Republican. It's a bipartisan position, and to give you a new benchmark, then COLA, CPIE would work. It's one thing to forget to do that or not do it. It's another thing to start having people who are of adult age look back and seeing, wait a second, you're getting enormous stimulus checks to 2 and 3 and 4 year olds. What's going on here? What's going on here? I'm not, we're not talking about the 14, they are doing it for 14, 15 year olds, but a 2 year old, a $5,000 stimulus check. And I want to give you the reference point. The first stimulus package of CARES Act 1, the minor dependent stimulus check was $500. The Democrats wrote that. $500. Now it's $5,000? $5,000 for a minor dependent stimulus check? I don't understand what's going on here. Let me answer some incredible questions and comments from yesterday's video. Jeremy Utley, when you say Nancy Pelosi spoke, I literally got chills on my spine. Lord, some of these politicians are just monsters at this point. Joe's insane. What do you really think he remembers? What do you think he would do? Dermacare doctor, gasoline prices have doubled. Oh, they have doubled. Food costs have gone up. They've gone way up. LA, these stimulus payments are not doing anything to fight off the high cost of living. I mean, it's, in the video after this, I'm going to go over the grants for businesses. That is it just smells of bad lobbying. It just smells of bad lobbying. How one group gets money, the other don't. Kim Sargent, promises, just another letdown for the government. Annabelle, that's all well and done, but when are they sending out money for Social Security and disability? They're not. That's why you have to push to get them to do it. Pamela, we love you, Adelaide. So glad to see you're feeling better. We miss you when you're not witty, intelligent, helpful self. Don't push yourself hard. You're Purple Power family. I appreciate that. I was definitely in pain right before I went on camera last recording. I'm good now. Sonia, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Susan Fowler. Oh, Dancing Pear. I forgot. Pear alert. Susan Fowler. Forget baby bonuses. We need granny bonuses. Senior lives matter. Everyone have a good evening. Lord, can we frame that? Susan Fowler, forget baby bonuses. We need granny bonuses. Senior lives matter. Everyone have a good evening. Amen. I mean, senior lives do matter. Oh, I forgot about the baby. I forgot about the baby bill when I was doing my hand example. I was doing this. I forgot the baby gets $1,000. The baby gets $1,000 as well. Oh my goodness. It's just, it keeps on adding up. Certainly Joe Biden, when he came in, he extended SNAP benefits to 6-year-olds and younger, which is great. It's not like seniors are not excluded from SNAP benefits. But if I really wanted to be analytical about this, I would say an adult person eats a little bit more than a 6-year-old. So I guarantee you they're cheating you on SNAP benefits as well. I guarantee you they're giving the same amount of SNAP benefits to a 6-year-old's diet as a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old eats more food than a 6-year-old. I sense they're messing up with that as well. Sharon Rosenberg, I need the original hazard pay in our MSC. Absolutely. I mean, I would like someone to tell me what happened to 2020 to 2021. I mean, what happened to this country? Everything that was going on in 2020, no one's even acknowledging it ever happened. It's like weird twilight congressional zone. Mitch in 2020 was blocking everything for liability insurance. Now he's not talking about it. He was talking about lobster bills. Now he's not talking about it. AOC was talking about pop bills. She ain't talking about it. Nancy was talking about $600 FPUC. She's not talking about it. Nancy said, Nancy said $10,000 hazard pay. She's not talking about it. Everything that people talked about in 2020, they're acting like that year didn't exist. It's sort of, you know what it feels like? These congressional leaders acting like 2020 never existed. You know what it feels like? I just remembered what it feels like. It feels like that opening sequence when Pam Ewing goes to the shower and sees Bobby Ewing in the shower and says, it was all a dream. Last season on Dallas was all a dream. Bobby never died. Bobby never died. It was a dream. Pam dreamed it all up. 2020 was a dream. Pam dreamed up your stimulus last year. She dreamed up all this. Pam dreamed up Mitch with the lobsters and the liability insurance. Pam dreamed up the $600 of FPUC. Pam dreamed up you were promised $2,000 of Pam dreamed up all this. She dreamed up that Bobby died in a car crash, Bobby Ewing, and she dreamed up all this stuff about your stimulus. That's why when we're sitting here in 2021, we're asking them, why didn't you do anything for 20? Because Pam dreamed it up. It was all Pam. Pam Ewing. She did it. That's what it feels like to me. I remember I remember in reruns, because I'm too young. I remember on YouTube when I would look up that scene and it was like, what does this mean? It means, well, Bobby Ewing had left the show for a season because he wanted to be a big movie star. Didn't work, according to him. So he wanted to come back to the show, but he was dead. How do you bring someone back to the show that's dead? You dream the entire prior season. So they brought Bobby Ewing back to the show after he was already dead in a car crash underneath an oil tanker. And they said, hey, he's alive again because Pam dreamed it up. I think Pam has dreamed up all our 2020 stimulus items because every time we seem to mention them to people, they're like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Let me get to the rest of your comments. Whatever happened to the original hazard pay? Sharon Rosenberg. It didn't happen. Pam Ewing dreamed it. It just never happened, Sharon. Joel Crocker. When are we getting the stimulus check this month? I live by myself in SSI. It's hard living by yourself. I'm sorry, Joel. Anthony Wilson. Been months seeing a stimulus check again. Precious Baker. It's a hot mess espresso all the time. Charles Hooser, is people on Social Security going to get check or child tax credit? So that's a great question. If you are on SSI, SSDI, you qualify for, and your child is 17 or younger, you qualify for that child tax credit. My concern, boy, this is a little complicated to bring up even at the 33-minute mark, but my concern is the IRS may not know you have that child. Again, if you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security or Railroad benefits, and you do not file tax returns, but you have a child that qualifies for this child tax credit, my concern is whether the IRS knows the child exists. If they don't know the child exists, there's a problem. And yeah. Melania, how are you, Melania? Melania, when are we going to get the stimulus people need it badly? After February 20th. Norman Cox, we can't let them get away with that. If we do, we let them do it again and again. It's discriminating. I'm yelling as their agenda is against us. Wow, that's incredible. He's basically saying what this entire broadcast was at the end of this broadcast. Now, I did not prepare that. Trust me, cross my heart, hope to die. I did not prepare that. That's strange. That's spooky. That this broadcast was whether congressional leaders are really ignoring older people to give lots of benefits to very, very young people. And here's the final comment at the 34-minute mark. Norma Cox. We cannot let them get away with that. If we do, they will do it again and again and again. It's discriminating, and I'm yelling at that as that agenda is against us. I sort of feel like everyone should pick up the phone, call AARP, and we should get a big lobbyist union together and say, why are you treating adults of advanced age so poorly in the stimulus package and giving insane favoritism to very, very young people. Thank you, Luther, for coming to for coming to Purple Power. I heard the $1,400 may not happen. No. Wendy, let me end with that. I've heard in the last few hours, I've gotten a lot strange. Everyone welcome Luther to the family. Welcome Luther to becoming a Purple Hawk. In the last few hours, I got a lot of strange private messages from people saying, I heard the bill's not happening. I heard the $1,400 is not happening. I heard it's not till August. I heard it's not till June. I heard they're gone. I heard, Lord, I don't know where, I don't know where all these reports are coming from. It's just not true. That's number one. Second, there's not that many reports out there about stimulus. So, to the extent that people somehow find all these reports on stimulus, there's not a lot of reports on stimulus. That's why viewership is down across the board the last few days, because there's a lot of attention on an impeachment trial. This channel has done well, and I thank you for that. But generally, there's less attention to stimulus the last few days because there's not been a lot of talk about it. So no, there has not been. There's not been a series of news reports you've missed where they said they're not doing it, the $14 is zero, or all that and more. 1,300 people were in the room and 600 likes. At the 36-minute mark, let's get the likes up to 1,000 and 1,500 likes. Let me give you the big update where we are in tonight's recording. When are we getting the stimulus? After February 20th. Let me give you the big update. Today, well, let me go back to last week. Last week, and can Congress change that? They cannot change the February 20th. Wow, these are some really good questions tonight. Maybe I should not give an update. The February 20th is an actual written deadline. It's not some airlines loosey-goosey deadline. It's an actual deadline. So they can't change the February 20th deadline. That's the first thing. Second, if you've been a long-time viewer of this channel, you know that the fact that a body is not in session does not mean they're on vacation. In session means they're on the floor voting on something. On vacation means they're out of town. When people are not in session, it means they're not on the floor voting on something. For purposes of bills that are covered on this channel, the voting is sort of irrelevant, because when they call for a vote, it's done. They're working, they're in subcommittees, they're in Washington. So this High Fox News narrative that people have left town and they are in the Bahamas with their feet in the jacuzzi, please, it's not true. It's very funny, but maybe that's their twin sister. Maybe Pam Ewing dreamed. The big update as you join me this evening is that the reconciliation bill was passed exactly a week ago today. That reconciliation bill is the tow truck dragging the tow hitch over the finish line. The tow hitch is the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Today, we got confirmation that all the Senate subcommittees that were required by law to work on their bills, finalize their bills, they got them out of reconciliation. They got them out of the subcommittees. It will be the following for a stimulus check: $1,400 for an individual, $28 for a married couple, $1,400 for a minor, and $1,400 for adult dependent. It's not particularly fair. Adult dependent should be getting $3,200. The earned income tax credit is $1,500 to an individual who worked during the pandemic as an essential worker and makes less than $25,000 a year. That's great, but it should be prepaid in July. Why? Because they're prepaying the little babies in July as well. If you have a child 6 years or younger, you're going to get $3,600 for that child, prepaid in July, $300 a month starting the month of July for 1 year. If you have a child 17 to 6, you will get $3,000 divided by 12, whatever that is. 270 or something per month for 12 months. For every child you have, you will get that as well. It's a lot of money. It's wonderful. God bless the viewers that are going to get this. But adult seniors should be getting something more as well. The thought that we're giving $5,000 to 2-year-olds as a stimulus check, $1,400 plus $3,600, and just giving a 60-year-old $1,400 doesn't particularly make sense. In the video right after this, I'm back live with you in less than 3 minutes. And in that video, I'll be going over the issues of FPUC, rent, payroll, and also the issues of business grants. Stay with me. That'll be a big other recording. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll answer more of your questions. Bring them to me on the next video in just 3 minutes. Watch for the feed. Stay at LA for more.